The legend of John Wayne has always loomed large in American cinema. The towering cowboy, the man who walked taller than the rest, the unflinching embodiment of courage and conviction. But behind the camera, beyond the roar of applause and the mythic glow of the silver screen, existed a man far more complex. His handshake could seal a friendship for life, or just as easily end a career. Because when John Wayne decided he hated someone, that hatred burned slow, deep, and absolute. What follows isn't just a list of Hollywood feuds. It's the hidden story of a man waging a private war against change itself, against actors who, in his eyes, were dismantling the very idea of what an American hero was supposed to be. Wayne's life was defined by two kinds of battles: those he fought on film and those he waged behind the scenes. On screen, he conquered deserts, faced outlaws, and saved the frontier. Off-screen, he defended an America he believed was slipping away, one built on honor, toughness, and unshakable values. As Hollywood evolved into a new era of anti-heroes and moral ambiguity, Wayne's conviction hardened. He loved his country, his craft, and his idea of right and wrong. But he could never forgive those who challenged it. And that's where his 7 fiercest feuds began. If this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. 1. Montgomery Clift, the method actor who threatened his legacy. The first wound came early. Montgomery Clift, with his introspective intensity and fragile charisma, was everything Wayne was not. When they worked together on Red River in 1948, Wayne thought he'd be mentoring a young actor. Instead, he found himself face-to-face with a new kind of performance, method acting, that questioned everything he stood for. Wayne memorized his lines, hit his marks, and believed in stoic simplicity. Clift wanted to explore motives, emotions, psychology. Their styles clashed like gunfire. On set, the tension was visible. When Wayne joked that Clift didn't look like he could herd cattle, Clift coolly replied, "Maybe I'll just act like I can. Isn't that what we're supposed to do?" From that moment, the air between them turned electric. Wayne's anger wasn't just professional, it was existential. Clift represented a new age of actors who saw vulnerability as strength, who dared to show cracks in their armor. Wayne saw it as the end of authenticity. After filming Wrapped, he reportedly told friends, "That boy's turning acting into therapy." He would never work with Clift again. And though Red River became a classic, it left Wayne with a bitterness he carried for years. Clift had shown that heroes could bleed, and Wayne never forgave him for it. 2. Kirk Douglas, the patriot and the rebel. If Clift challenged Wayne's craft, Kirk Douglas challenged his convictions. During the tense years of Hollywood's blacklist era, when actors and writers were accused of communist sympathies, Wayne became one of the most outspoken defenders of anti-communist policies. Douglas, by contrast, risked his career to hire blacklisted writer Dalton Trumbo for Spartacus. For Wayne, this was unforgivable. He called it spitting in the face of America, one associate recalled. Their feud wasn't just about politics, it was about patriotism. Douglas was brash, confident, and liberal. Wayne was conservative, proud, and immovable. When Douglas expressed interest in the Alamo, a film Wayne financed and directed himself, Wayne reportedly told the studio, "Either he's out or I'm out. It's my money on the line." That statement ended any possibility of collaboration. Even years later, when both men were aging legends, they avoided each other at industry events. Their feud was the clash of two Americas, one looking forward, one determined to hold the line. 3. Marlon Brando, the revolutionary Wayne couldn't forgive. Wayne and Marlon Brando never worked together, and perhaps it's better they didn't. Brando was everything Wayne despised about modern Hollywood: rebellious, unpredictable, and politically outspoken. When Brando refused his Oscar for The Godfather in 1973, sending Native American activist Sachin Littlefeather to decline it on his behalf, Wayne was furious. "He's insulting "Every film I've ever made," he reportedly growled backstage, and had to be restrained from confronting her. For Wayne, that night symbolized a betrayal. Brando's act of protest felt like an attack on the Western itself, the very genre that had made Wayne a star. Brando's performances in A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront popularized the method style Wayne loathed, and his activism turned acting into a platform for politics. To Wayne, it was grandstanding. To Brando, it was conscience. They were opposites by nature, the old lion and the young rebel, and both knew there was no middle ground between them. Each represented a vision of America the other could not tolerate. For Clark Gable, the rival who cast a long shadow. Before John Wayne was the Duke, there was another king in Hollywood, Clark Gable. Gable's charisma and command of the screen made him the man every young actor wanted to be. Wayne admired him at first until envy began to take root. During the 1930s, Gable's star burned brighter, while Wayne was stuck in low-budget westerns. When Gable enlisted in World War II and flew combat missions, Wayne stayed home, a decision he later regretted deeply. The comparison haunted him. Friends said Wayne's guilt over not serving never left him, and Gable became the living reminder of it. When Gable's war service was praised in the press, Wayne grew more resentful. By the time both men were considered for Mogambo in 1953, Wayne reportedly told director John Ford, "It's him or me." Ford chose Gable, and Wayne never forgot it. Yet, when Gable died in 1960, Wayne quietly attended the funeral, standing alone in the back. For all their rivalry, Wayne respected Gable's courage, even if it exposed his own insecurities. That was Wayne's paradox, the man who could hate fiercely, but still honor a rival's strength. 5. Gene Hackman, the new Hollywood threat. By the early 1970s, Wayne was a living monument, and Gene Hackman was the face of everything new. Hackman's gritty realism in The French Connection and The Conversation stripped away the mythic heroism Wayne built his career on. Audiences wanted flawed, complicated characters, not invincible cowboys. When Wayne saw The French Connection, he reportedly walked out halfway through, muttering, "If that's a hero, then I'm done with heroes." The two almost collided during pre-production for The Train Robbers, 1973. Hackman was being considered for a supporting role, but Wayne personally intervened. "Either he's out or I'm out," he told the producers. Hackman was dropped. What made the feud so significant was its symbolism. The torch was being passed to a new generation of actors, and Wayne refused to let go. Hackman wasn't just another performer. He represented the end of Wayne's world, where good and evil were clear, and courage didn't come with moral disclaimers. 6. Robert Duvall, the authentic rival. Robert Duvall was another threat, but of a different kind. Where Hackman represented realism, Duvall embodied authenticity. He didn't just act like a cowboy, he lived like one. When Duvall was considered for True Grit alongside Wayne, reports say Wayne vetoed him personally. Duvall's immersive preparation, living among real Texas Rangers, annoyed him. "We're making a movie, not a documentary," Wayne snapped. Duvall, unbothered, went on to redefine the Western with Lonesome Dove 2 decades later, portraying a frontier man with quiet realism that critics hailed as the most authentic in film history. Duvall later said Wayne played the same character his whole career, wearing the same hat. A jab that cut deep even years after Wayne's death. Their feud, though one-sided, captured a generational shift from myth to man. Wayne built legends, Duvall built truth. And though Wayne dismissed it as showing off, deep down he knew that the kind of performance Duvall delivered was the future, one he couldn't join. 7. Clint Eastwood, the successor Wayne couldn't accept. Finally, there was Clint Eastwood, the man destined to inherit Wayne's throne. Wayne should have been proud, but instead he was furious. Eastwood's spaghetti westerns, A Fistful of Dollars, for a few dollars more, the good, the bad, and the ugly, turned the Western inside out. His characters were morally gray, ruthless, and silent where Wayne's were righteous and loud. After seeing Eastwood's films, Wayne wrote him a scathing letter condemning the cheap cynicism that, in his words, destroyed the dignity of the Western hero. Eastwood, ever respectful, sent Wayne the script for High Plains Drifter, hoping to collaborate. Wayne returned it with a note. "You're making the West look like a place of corruption and cowardice. I won't be part of that." To Wayne, Eastwood's films betrayed the code he'd lived by. To Eastwood, they revealed a truth Wayne had ignored, that heroism was complicated, that justice had shadows. Their feud became symbolic, the passing of an era from certainty to doubt, from myth to realism. Ironically, when Eastwood later made Unforgiven in 1992, it was hailed as both a tribute and a deconstruction of Wayne's entire career. The very man Wayne rejected carried his legacy forward and transformed it. The legacy of a legend's feuds. As the years went by, the fire behind Wayne's feuds faded, but their meaning grew clearer. His anger toward Clift, Brando, Hackman, and Eastwood wasn't just personal, it was a war against time. Hollywood had changed, and Wayne was the last of the true believers, standing alone in defense of a world that no longer existed. He saw actors chasing nuance where he valued simplicity, blurring morality where he believed in right and wrong. To him, America's heroes were men of conviction, not doubt. Yet, for all his stubbornness, Wayne's influence never died. The men he feuded with, Clift, Douglas, Brando, Hackman, Duvall, Eastwood, all admitted in different ways that he paved the path they walked. He had defined the American screen hero so completely that every actor who came after him either followed or rebelled against his image. Even those he couldn't stand helped keep his legend alive. Wayne's story isn't just about feuds or film sets. It's about change, pride, and the price of legacy. His battles reveal a man wrestling with his own mythology, trying to preserve the simplicity of an America that was slipping through his fingers. In the end, John Wayne wasn't fighting other actors. He was fighting the future. And though time inevitably won, Wayne's defiance ensured that the cowboy, that unbreakable symbol of grit and honor, will forever ride across the silver screen.